Hi, welcome to Yomogi House. I am Peony, and let me fix this just a little bit. There we go. So today I'm going to make a wonderful dish. I'm going to make breakfast, and it's scrambled tofu. Let me tell you a little bit about tofu first, and I have a very detailed explanation in my book, Nurturing Your Temple, which is available at Kevin's Crafts on West 11th. And let's see, there's different types of tofu, like I said. There's the silken tofu. It's very soft and it's very digestible. It's great for elderly people, for little children who don't really have their, chewing skills working properly. And then there's the medium firm, and then there's a really firm tofu. The really firm tofu is good for, if you're going to be doing like stir fries or deep frying, or adding this to the fried tofu to your soup or your sauces, and the silken tofu is great for making creams and sauces, and that's what I'm going to do. Also make a little cream and pudding later on in my next video. But this time, right now, what I'm going to do is make scrambled tofu, and I'm using this tofu in the box. Oops, it's getting hot. I'm going to move this aside a little bit so my smoke alarm doesn't go on. So I'm using this tofu in a box, and only because I live far away and I don't like to go driving, and I buy a bunch of it and that I can eat it as needed. But for those who have access to the supermarket readily, then you can buy I like to buy sometimes the sprouted tofu, and I think Morsewood or something like that makes it, and that's really delicious. It's extra digestible because it's sprouted. It's sprouted, so it's easily digestible. And surata tofu is also good, but I find it to be a little bit on the harder side. Everybody has a preference. And when you buy tofu, like sometimes they come in the dehydrated form if you can get to an Asian market. I haven't never seen an organic one, but the dehydrated tofu is really delicious. It's called Koya tofu, and it comes from Mount Koya, where the monks used to live in the temple, and it's really a nice tofu for those who are making a transition from meat to a vegetarian diet, because it's got a lot of protein in it. And then there's the other kind of tofu called aburage, which is tofu that if you ever go to a sushi restaurant, that you can find this sushi rice stuffed pouches, tofu pouches. So there's a list of things that tofu is made out of. But today, anyway, I'm going to make my breakfast, and I'm using this once again, and you just cut the box open with your scissors, and then slide that out. Sometimes it doesn't slide out. You might have to cut both ends and kind of give it a little squeeze. And then make sure you drain it. Drain as much as the water as possible so it doesn't splatter. Maybe 10 minutes or so. And I'm only going to use half of this, and the other half I'm going to make tofu cheese with it. And but not today. I'll show you how to do that tomorrow. Tofu cheese is really delicious, where I'll tell you tomorrow. So make sure you watch my video tomorrow. So here we go. If you have a cast iron pan, or if you have a non-stick pan, that's even better, but I don't like non-stick pans, and I like this cast iron pan. So I heated it up, and I added some sesame oil, and I like sesame oil, but you can use any kind of oil. If you're like on the heavier set, maybe you might not want to use sesame oil because it's kind of oily. You can go with coconut oil or safflower oil, or whatever. Olive oil might work too, avocado oil, but make sure it's all organic oil. And that's what I like. I like sesame because I'm on the skinnier side. So I added, a little bit. If you're using a non-stick pan, you don't even need the oil. Just skip it. Okay? So once that's hot, wait for it to sizzle. And I'm also going to put tofu is very bland, and it just picks up whatever flavor you put in there. So what I'm going to put is dried ginger powder, and tofu being a very soft, mushy, it has a very yin constitution about it. And so you want to balance it out with your, here I go with my yin and yang philosophy, balance it out with some dried ginger, ginger being pungent and it's pretty on the yang side, so you can warm up your tofu, the qualities of the tofu with some ginger. Now if this is going to be a summer dish, then you don't need to put the ginger, but we are actually in late summer, early fall. It's a very short 1 month transition period, so our body's trying to get used to getting out of the heat in the summer and going into the fall, which is getting kind of cold, so be careful what you're eating. And because it's scrambled tofu and eggs are yellow, I'm going to add a little bit of turmeric powder to make it yellow, and then some salt. Okay, so I think it's nice and hot now, and I'm going to just do, I'm only going to do 1/4 of this because you don't want to eat too much tofu at a time. You just go gentle and don't overdo it. Asians don't really eat a lot of tofu. They just put like a few pieces in their miso soup. They don't make like tofu burgers and tofu cream pies and that kind of stuff. Don't go overboard with your tofu. Anything in moderation, including moderation. So here it is, and I got this mashed potato masher from the Mexican store. I just love this. It looks like a flower. We mash it up, okay? Once it's mashed up, then you can add your salt. Sprinkle your salt on there. And if you're worried about sodium, then skip the salt. And I guess about a pinch of ginger powder, maybe not even, that might be even too much. And then turmeric we're going to add last. We don't want to heat this up too long. Turn it back up. Okay. Let me turn this around a little bit. There you go. Now you can't see me, but this is how it looks. And I turned the heat down so it's not doing anything, so let me turn it back up. So tofu actually has a lot of calcium in it, and there really isn't anything to fear about tofu. I think it's the dairy industry giving tofu a really bad rap, but like I said, eat it in moderation. Make sure you get the non-genetically modified tofu, the soybeans, and it's certified organic, and don't eat too much of it. A little bit in your soup, a little side dish. It's not like meat where you like have a whole piece of meat, as in steak or pork chops or something. You don't go and get like a whole slab of tofu and make that your main dish. It's not a main dish. It's a side dish. So once this is done, we kind of want to like dry it up a little bit and have like a scrambled egg consistency. You can add some chopped up parsley to it, just some, not too much. And then to this, for your breakfast, you can have it, like on it with a piece of toast, or I know tofu and toast doesn't sound very good, but try it. It really tastes good. You can even like put a piece of sliced cheese on it. Tastes even better. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to have this with a slice of tomatoes and sprinkle some parsley on that, and a piece of carrot pickles. Tomorrow, I'm going to be busy. I'm going to make a delicious side dish, Japanese carrot pickles. And you can keep this all year long after you've harvested your carrots or any other vegetables that you've harvested. You want to be able to make pickles out of them so you can enjoy them for the rest of the year when it's cold and when you don't have access to vegetables. You can make pickles. Isn't that what pickles are all about? But Japanese pickles are so unique because I have a whole section in my book about pickles. Pickled tofu, pickled vegetables. I even have a pickle story. There's a story in each section of this book. This is a seasonal cookbook. There's 5 seasons, and in each season there is a story of a tofu tempeh story, the pickle story, the rice story. There's a bunch of stories in here. The story / cookbook / exercise book. I even recommend specific exercises for your organs. Okay, so here it's starting to get dry. And it's got this little burnt consistency looking to it. And now I can add my turmeric powder. And turn the heat down. You see, it's starting to look like scrambled egg, right? And that's all you want to eat. I mean, well, that's all I want to eat because I don't eat much. But for somebody who's a little bit larger than me, you might want to have double that. And not triple that. Double that might be okay. So this is probably like a quarter cup. And that's all you need. You don't need to eat any more than that. And you know, you can even add green peas to this. Chopped onions if you want, and get creative. Chopped chives would taste really good. You stir fry your chives and your onions first in some oil, and then you add the tofu, and then you can even add your tomatoes to that, and God, it's just so delicious. Why would you even want to eat eggs? Okay, there you go. And thanks for watching, and click like and share, and visit my YouTube, Peony Prashanti YouTube, and share this with your friends. Bye.